I regret getting my associate's degree in high school. Full stop, I understand the privilege in that statement. I am very lucky and blessed to have had the resources, income, and support system to push me to this achievement. I am not trying to devalue this accomplishment. This is the biggest and greatest achievement I have attained thus far, and I know I'll top it in the coming years. This video essay is more of a rant/reflection of the past 5-ish years of my academic life and how it has manifested in the way I'm feeling now. Additionally, I would hope this video could serve as a call out to any other people my age who are in similar circumstances to let them know that they aren't alone in this and that these feelings are normal and even healthy to an extent. With that, let's begin. Hello, my name is Zoop. I'm 19 years old and I'm a junior in college. I'm in the high school class of 2025 as well as the college class. In the summer of 2021, I was transitioning from middle school to high school. At the time, my older brother had suggested dual credit classes to me. For those unaware, dual credit is a class that counts towards high school credit as well as college hours. I was privileged to start earlier than most of my fellow students due to a family member already being enrolled in the community college connected to my high school, and I started my first dual credit class the summer right before 9th grade. That started a trend of me essentially giving up my summers throughout high school, which didn't feel like a huge sacrifice at the time. Sure, I got the occasional summer vacation. I just had to communicate to my professors that I would need extra time on my assignments, but I still didn't really understand what I was giving up in terms of my personal identity. If you didn't pick up on it, I started high school in 2021, meaning we were just coming out of the height of the COVID-19 virus. So similarly to many adolescents at the time, I had to finish my final year of middle school in my house. I had to navigate the loss of human interaction beyond my immediate family, I had to learn how virtual school worked, and due to being goody two-shoes, I tried my hardest to finish it legitimately rather than cheating like most other people admitted, although it was very tempting in my weaker subject classes. This was already a major event for me as a 13-year-old, and it only got harder when I started high school as I had to relearn how to be a person around everybody else who was also learning how to be around other people again. Now, what does this have to do with my associate's degree is it simply gave me something to go back to. What I mean by that is many of my fellow students at the time had come out of COVID with a new skill that they had honed in on. I felt like at the time that I hadn't. I'd been rejected for the sport I wanted to do at the time, and I felt like there was literally nothing else I was good at. My high school, in my opinion at least, doubled as a trade school. We had these things, I think, that were called endorsements in the form of classes offered by a local trade school, really similar to the community college that partnered with my high school. So it felt like everyone was pursuing something amazing, or at least useful. Students in my class alone were leaving as cosmetologists, barbers, mechanics, CMAs, CNAs, and other things to that degree. Other students, if they weren't doing that, were making waves. They were amazing star athletes, they were star students, or at the very least an essential pillar in the community, and just overall amazing young adults. I felt avolitional by comparison because I didn't feel like I was any of that. But I figured I could at least pretend if I stuck to my degree. And that's just what I did. In a sense, I just kind of wanted to belong. And it worked. I was among the few students in my class at my school who had earned a degree. The graduation was the best day of my life thus far, and I was so happy that I cried after I walked the stage. Felt like I had climbed a mountain. I finally felt as amazing and productive as all the other kids in my grade. But when the high finally wore off and my first year of actual 4-year university started, my perspective had shifted. I finally realized what I had given up. When I first started university, I had an amazing first few months. I did all the usual things. I partied, I cried when my family left me at the dorm, and, I was just getting used to the change. But if we backtrack to the summer leading up to my first year at university, I did nothing. It was the first time in nearly 5 years that I had nothing to do, and I was lost the entire time. I didn't really know what to do with all the time that I had. I didn't have to stress about planning around my classes. I didn't have to think about going to my counselor to help me plan out my dual credit classes for next semester. I I was confused. But I say this to say that I was lost. I gave away all my summers to my degree. I had never had a part-time job or like a summer job because I always had to focus on my classes. I never really had time to hang out with my friends during summer unless they were in my classes over summer, and even after a certain point, I didn't even have normal high school classes. They were predominantly dual credit. I finally had time to be a normal teenager during summer, and I had no idea what to do. So I did what I did know. I prepared for college. I scheduled my classes, I looked at my professors, I prepared to move into the dorms, and I bought school supplies with my friends over summer. And yet, in my mind, I knew there was something that was going to be different. While, yes, most kids I went to school with were doing the same thing, I knew that things were going to be slightly different for me. I would be starting university as a second semester sophomore, and this meant that I was going to be in classes with older students. Students that attended the university longer than me, and students that were more qualified than me. And even now, I feel like this is a fair assessment. The people I interacted with within my major alone make me feel like a complete nitwit villager from Minecraft. These kids, they have internships, they've been featured in major events on and off campus. They know the professors and each other on a personal level, and as irrational as it may seem, I feel like my fellow students got to where they were legitimately, and I sometimes feel like I cheated my way to this status with them. While that's not the truth at all, I worked hard to be where I am in my academic journey. It just felt like that at times. I felt like that same 14-year-old kid in high school that had something to prove. I felt and still do feel like I have to prove that I belong among these people. Only this time, I have less time. College is not high school at all. You have more responsibility, you have to be independent, yada yada yada. Everybody who's been to college or is going to college has heard this speech more times than they can count. The whole point of that is I'm trying to say that there's pressure placed on you in college, but I have an added layer because of my degree. I'm a first semester junior right now. I graduate next year, and I feel like I've accomplished very little besides a decent GPA. But this time, I can't commit to anything bigger like higher education because everybody is doing it. Everyone in my major is graduate school bound, or at least destined to get a high paying job due to their efforts paying off. I haven't done any of that. I feel like I had no time to. I wish I could stay longer. I wish I could do something that made me stand out and be as special as the incredible people I've met in my major. But I feel like I can't because I have no time. I didn't get the time to build these connections with my professors. I didn't have time to build my resume like everyone else did because I was pursuing my degree. I wish I had got to suffer through my first year with other students in my major and connect with them, but I skipped ahead to save time. I wish I had realized how much of my formative years I had given up to pursue a higher education because I feel like and felt like I had something to prove, because now I'm essentially in the same place. I'm not going to try to wrap this essay up in a neat little bow or pretend that I know how to get rid of this feeling. I'm still currently on this journey as we speak, and I know I got pretty pessimistic at the end of the last section, but this is a reflection after all, and luckily, time passes anyway, and with time comes change. And although I have kept up my habit of having summer classes, and they do start in a few days, I'm pretty excited because my first summer job starts soon after. And I'm also happy to say that a lot of my old high school friends also graduated from community college, the same one that I went to recently. I find them, as well as the students I've met in my major, inspiring, and it's also given me a sense of empowerment to not sit in this feeling. Knowing what I know now, I am aware of how to change my circumstances and become one of those amazing people I always see. And I can be more. And I know I will face this feeling again, especially as I continue to pursue higher education in graduate school. I know that I can pull through. Okay, that's all I have. I'm sorry about the video quality. I'm not a YouTuber, like I said. I hope you enjoyed the video as well as the art. And yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. Bye.